Let's start, first of all, with this question. The Lakers got LeBron, the Lakers got Luka, and the Lakers got beat by the Charlotte Hornets last night. Oh, how is that possible? You lose to a 13-39 team. Right before the All-Star break, they lost to a 12-40 Utah Jazz team. How is that possible, Laker fan? I stood there and I watched that thing last night. I kept shaking my head. They kept taking bad shots. They kept turning it over. And the biggest obstacle, John, is I sit there and I watch the ball go into LeBron's hand and everybody stands around. If it goes into Luka's hands, they stand around. I see no flow. I see no rhythm. It's like, you got the ball. What are you going to do with it? Just a terrible performance against one of the worst teams in the NBA, the Charlotte bleeping Hornets. How is that possible? Now, Laker fan will be piling in here. He's going to be yelling, shish goomba, playoffs, NBA Western Finals. All right, I know you had that hot streak, but I want you to look at what's left on your schedule, a.k.a. playoff push. They got 2 against the Houston Rockets, who are pretty damn athletic. They got 2 against Oklahoma City, whom everybody's of the opinion might be the best in the West. They got 2 against Joker and the Nuggets, who are pretty good. You got 2 left against Giannis and what is in Milwaukee. You got 2 against the guys across the street, the LA Clippers, who seem to amp it up when they play the Lakers. You got to go to Boston. You got to play San Antonio, although the Spurs now are no longer the same, and I'll explain to that in a minute. You still got to play Durant and Booker and the Suns. You got to play the vastly improved New York Knicks, and you got Ja Morant, who doesn't like anything LA. So the Lakers have got 16 really tough-ass games here, this back part of the schedule. I mentioned the San Antonio thing. This is a terrible story. Victor Wembanyama was hospitalized today. He's got a blood clot as a byproduct from a knee injury. Very scary. You don't screw with blood clots. He's been placed on blood thinners, which shuts him down for the next 3 months. And the minute I saw the story, the thing that flashed before my eyes was the greatness of Chris Bosh, who had a really nice career, Miami Heat, and him and Dwayne Wade and LeBron and all that on South Beach. He had a blood clot in his calf. He never came back. So this is very scary for a tremendously talented player in Victor Wembanyama. And one other NBA note, this is a weird story. This relates to the Milwaukee Bucks. Bobby Portis just got suspended for 25 games for a second violation of drugs. He's addicted to tramadol, which is as intense a pain relief pill. Has to be prescribed. He was getting phony prescriptions. He's addicted to it, and he's been suspended for 25 games without pay, which in essence is probably the rest of the season, which probably is going to be the end of his career. So 2 really bad stories. But spinning back to the Lakers, how the hell are you going to beat all those guys with a Laker offense that stands around? And by the way, I never mentioned the deficiency in the paint with 2 CBA guys as your starting and backup centers in the paint. So, John, how are you going to beat any of those 16 teams games left?
That's a tough assignment.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty good teams. Now, those are 16, is it 16 games, maybe 15 games?
Yeah.
So that's not all that's left in their season.
No, there's some garbage on there, but they got all these games against really good people.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to test the mettle of these guys. Dalton Connect, do you think he can energize this team, or is he maybe kind of feeling a little sorry for himself that he's kind of had to come back with his tail between his legs?
The heck with feeling sorry for yourself. You're on an NBA contract. They really need him. But I swear to you, you never know what you're going to get Monday, Wednesday, Friday compared to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. He was miserable last night, launching threes, just missing everything. Other games, he's had really good performance. There's been no consistency to Dalton Connect's offensive game. And I've always had reservations about foot speed and ability to play a defensive end. And obviously, he's either got to be a starter, he's got to be the first guy off the bench, and you got to give him minutes, and he's got to find his rhythm. But you never know. Every other night is a different Dalton Connect out there. I don't think I'm reading him wrong. He's awful young. He's awful raw, but got to work with this kid. No?
Yeah. I mean, he's a number 1 pick. And, we kind of, again, you were cautious about, when he was drafted.
Exactly.
And I was kind of hopeful he was going to be a 3-point shooter. But, the the Lakers are in a better position than they were earlier on in the season.
Does that include playing Utah and Charlotte the way they played Utah and Charlotte?
Okay, you're just going to keep hammering on that point. Okay, but I want to talk about Victor Wembanyama. Can we do that?
Yes, please do.
I didn't know about this. This must have just broke this morning.
Yeah, late in the morning. Just terrible. Just a terrible setback. He had an injury, didn't feel right. Now they found a blood clot. At the end of the day, you don't screw with blood clots.
Yeah, because they can travel and
you wind up in your heart.
Well, I remember Nathan Mensah had a blood clot thing with the Aztecs a couple of years ago.
Sat out the year on blood thinners, etc. But blood thinners are good in terms of dealing with clots, but blood thinners create a different injury issue. If you get a cut and you're on blood thinners, now that's a different problem.
Yeah, because you can sort of kind of bleed out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, there was so much hope and promise in Victor Wembanyama.
Yes.
Great kid, great athlete, bringing San Antonio up. We were thinking San Antonio is going to be the next dominant team in the NBA. And now you're just, hoping and praying for this guy. He's going to be all right.
That he'll come back from it. Chris Bosh never came back from it, which was really scary. Now, he had multiple clots triggered by calf injuries. This they caught early. But it's a 3-month window. After you're put on blood thinners, it's 3 months for the blood thinners to kick in. So there will be no basketball for him. And, San Antonio's dealing with the whole stroke situation. Greg Popovich has never returned as coach.
Oh, man.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's a tough set of
I remember
circumstances.
we reported on the stroke, but I didn't know he hadn't come back.
That does not come back yet.
Wow.
He's doing all the therapy and everything he needs to do.
Well, question, the Portis thing with the Bucks, you say it's Tramadol?
Tramadol. It's an addictive painkiller. I've been on Tramadol. Holy cow. It's powerful, but you could see how you could get addicted to it. Because I took Tramadol when I first injured my back. And it was prescribed to me, and the side effects were wicked. I took it, and every 3 hours I would wake up when it would wear off, because I'd wake up because of the pain, and I'd start to crave it. And I said, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is dangerous. And
yeah.
They gave it to my son. My son's an All-American wrestler, and he had a bad shoulder injury, and they prescribed it to him. It made him upside down. He said, I can't take this. I won't take this. And then, you investigate and you find out it is pretty wicked stuff. Does it help? Yes. Is it addictive? Yes. And now we find out Bobby Portis, his career is in jeopardy.
Wow. Yeah. And you're right. I was just Vicodin. I felt the pull of that when I was on it. But, that drug, was that the same drug that Michael Jackson took, or
I think he was on a whole cocktail of things.
And then the other guy was Chandler Bing from the TV show Friends passed away. I'm not sure if it was the same drug, but they're not handing out opioids like they used to 5 years ago.
No, but there are ways to get these things illegally, and I was told that's what Bobby Portis was doing.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. All things. Laker line is open. Feel free. You want to jump on board. I don't mean to pile on, but just explain yourself. You're the one that was barking at me that Hacksaw, they won 11 of their last 13. Of course, I went back and said, oh, yeah, they beat Charlotte twice. They beat Utah twice. They beat Brooklyn, So that's 11 of your 13 wins. Now look what's happened. You lost to the Jazz. You lost to the Hornets, and they just look like a team that's not molded together. How can that be? Give me the ball, stand around and watch me launch a three that doesn't wear. Laker line is open. Fans Forum chat box. If you don't participate, then don't bitch about what is being said on this podcast. You have the chance on Fans Forum to join. I hate to throw hand grenades at people. These people that bark at us about, how dare you say that? Well, get off your ass and get on the chat box so we can hear what your opinion is. Am I being too mean here? Did I drink too much caffeine this morning?
I mean, you should read the comments on Instagram, man. People light you up, baby.
That's okay. All right, we go from that